think of these new tariffs from the U.S.? Did Canada have it coming on forced labor?
Are you talking about the forced labor tariffs? Well, look, I haven't read the full report from the USTR. We should care about the issue of forced labor, not because the United States cares about forced labor, but because Canadians care about forced labor and the vulnerable populations that our laws are supposed to protect around the world. This is an issue, actually, that the Trade Committee has studied. All opposition parties have pushed for more studies on this issue and hearing from both the Minister and CBSA. Quite frankly, the data and information we've gotten from the government is completely underwhelming. If you look at the number of shipments that have been stopped in Canada for forced labor versus the United States as an example, clearly the current laws are not working in the way that they should. There's actually a block bill to deal with forced labor to make our laws more in line with how other jurisdictions do it. This is a bill that we would work with any member of Parliament in any party to bring forward to debate quicker, to potentially force a vote on this bill. But the Prime Minister's and government's rhetoric does not match the results. They say they care about forced labor, but our results do not indicate that we are doing what we can to protect those vulnerable populations.
So is there a world where these additional tariffs are justified or could result in less forced labor products involving forced labor being used in Canada?
I think we'd have to review the report in its entirety before we make a determination on whether they're justified or not. I do think it highlights an issue that Conservatives and many members of Parliament have been highlighting for some time. The forced labor laws that we have not been producing the results that we would expect. We should be re-examining those laws, and including hearing from the Minister and CBSA themselves about why we haven't been able to address this issue as we should. Frankly, the Prime Minister has a very high approval rating at the moment. I think it would be interesting to see how he is spending his political capital. My position, or the party's position, he's to spend his political capital on pipelines and repairing the relationship with the U.S. That would show leadership. Instead, the Prime Minister seems to be spending his political capital on getting closer to China. And on this issue, China is an offender of populations that use forced labor in ways in factories that have been well documented. And instead, the Prime Minister is choosing to spend his capital on repairing the relationship with China, which I think is, you're seeing the results of this as impacting our relationship with the United States.
Do you think this is really about China, or is this a U.S. administration that's using whatever tool it can possibly get its hands on to impose tariffs on people who, on other countries who don't want them?
I think that's a very fair question. Obviously, the U.S. administration has a preference for a tariff policy like they did in the pre-1900s. But I do think, as I said before, this is an issue, at least on forced labor, that Conservatives have been calling for more action on for a lot of time. And as I say, the results are completely underwhelming. How is it possible that Canada has only seized shipments in the single digits while other countries have been seizing multiple ships and multiple shipments for the reasons of specific forced labor? The results that we have are, as I say, completely underwhelming. It means that we should be doing more as not just parliamentarians, but as a country in enforcing the laws that we have on the books today. And if those laws aren't working, the block bill does have some suggestions on requiring importers that import goods from places that are high probability of using forced labor, that importer actually has to prove that those goods are produced free from forced labor. If the laws we currently have are not being enforced and not working, I think it's up to parliamentarians to decide whether we need to reframe and change the laws. I think we should move that bill up the precedent list. We should have the debate. We should have this issue be studied much more at committee. And as I said again, you know, the government will tell you it cares about forced labor, but its rhetoric does not match the results. The information that we've received from the government is completely underwhelming on this issue. And I think on behalf of those vulnerable populations and Canadians in general who've expressed concern about this issue, we should care about this issue because of those individuals and Canadians, not because the USTR says jump. We don't need to say how high when they say jump, but we've been on this issue well before we've heard from the Americans on it. Thank you very much.
I want to comment on the meeting with Ambassador Bureau yesterday. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see the readout. They said they worked on the issues that are obvious, like the tariffs. What do you think of the fact that this meeting happened at all?
Well, as we say in many negotiations, whether it's with union and management, I think any time that individuals are at the table discussing, I think that's a good thing. I can't comment on the readout. I haven't seen any of the conclusions of that. But I do think what we need to be doing is being at the table with our American counterparts to discuss these issues in order to get to a resolution for the benefit of all Canadians. Thank you.
Sans contredit, sans conteste, sans compétition, Plessisville est la capitale mondiale de l'érable. On a les producteurs d'érable qui sont chez nous. On a la plus grande réserve de sirop d'érable au monde qui est chez nous. La région qui produit le plus de sirop d'érable. Et en plus, le nom du comté fédéral est mégantique, l'érable lobinière. Donc, c'est un concours sans compétiteur réel. Je pense sincèrement que c'est une bonne chose qu'on puisse parler autant de l'érable. Que l'industrie de l'érable se porte bien. On a eu une excellente saison en matière de production de sirop d'érable. C'est une ressource de or extraordinaire, un or liquide pour l'ensemble des Canadiens et Canadiennes. C'est le symbole de notre drapeau national. Mais pour ce qui est d'un titre, on est prêt à partager beaucoup de choses, à partager notre excellent sirop avec tous les Canadiens, mais pas notre titre de capitale mondiale de l'érable.
Qu'est-ce que vous pensez des tarifs américains?
Écoutez, c'est encore une fois des tarifs. Qu'est-ce que je voulais? C'est imprévisible. À tous les jours, on tente de faire face. Et malheureusement, celui qui avait promis d'enlever tous ces tarifs-là, celui qui avait promis d'être le meilleur pour négocier une entente, le banquier économiste, M. Carney, prouve encore une fois que toutes ces belles promesses, la dernière campagne électorale n'était que du vent. On se retrouve aujourd'hui le seul pays du G7 en récession. Ça va pas bien au pays. Il faut être dans les circonscriptions comme la mienne, dans Mégantic-l'Érable, pour voir des fermetures comme les immeubles South Shore qui ont fermé récemment. Beaucoup d'entreprises ont des carnets de commandes de plus en plus vides. Il y a quelques années à peine, on parlait de carnets de commandes qui pouvaient aller de 1 à 2 ans d'avance. Maintenant, on parle de semaines, de mois pour les entreprises qui vont le mieux. Donc, la situation économique des entreprises, particulièrement des PME en région, qui font affaire aux États-Unis n'est pas bonne. Et pour ça, malheureusement, les libéraux n'ont pas été en mesure de livrer la marchandise.
Mais ces tarifs-là vous disent quoi sur la suite des négociations entre le Canada et les États-Unis pour l'ACO?
Bien, écoutez, comme je vous l'ai mentionné tout à l'heure, ce n'est que la preuve que l'approche Carney ne fonctionne pas. On est en récession, les entreprises ne vont pas bien, les gens vont dans les banques alimentaires de plus en plus nombreux, les loyers sont à un niveau inacceptable et si on est sur le terrain, là, on se rend compte que ce n'est pas technique, c'est une vraie récession. On essaie de détourner chez les libéraux l'attention, mais on est vraiment dans une situation économique très pénible.
Mais
merci.
Je
dois y aller, merci.
Do you want to tell us about your private members bill and how that process is going?
Sure. So on Monday, my private member's bill just passed unanimously in the House. It's focusing on rehabilitation and incarceration, turning lives around, breaking cycles, and making change with this drug crisis in Canada.
And why is that important for you?
Well, I'm a recovered addict. I've come out with my story. People can and do recover. There's a big, beautiful, happy, healed life on the other side of addiction, and it's time we reverse course in Canada. We help people heal, turn their lives around, stop enabling addiction with these policies, and focus on recovery and rehabilitation.
Just while I have you, and also if you could look at us and Health Canada.
Oh, sure.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but there are some new tariffs that were announced by the United States today. I'm wondering in Kitchener, right, if that is something that is concerning to you?
Tariffs are definitely top of mind, I think in all communities in Canada right now. I'm hoping that we get a deal here with CUSMA. I don't have a lot of hope because we're not even at the table. But I personally am excited about my private member's bill and fixing this drug crisis here in Canada.
What does it say that the Liberals also see that in your private member's bill?
I think everyone's just ready to do something different at this point. What we're doing now is not working. Enabling is not working. And so I think everyone's starting to have a different view on this drug crisis and that we're willing to make change in Canada.
Are they still trying to get you to pass the floor?
No, those conversations have ended. Okay, thank everyone.
What was the question?
Any update on the Snowbirds?
Well, obviously the community's rallying within the city of Moose Jaw and the outpouring of support across Canada has continue to increase. I think that this is a growing concern, and this issue is not going to be going away. We're still very, very concerned about the answers that we haven't received from the Liberal government about why they're cancelling the Snowbirds at this time. And so we're still prying away and trying to find out why perfectly good jets that could fly till 2030 be grounded. We believe this is a political decision and not a technical decision. If there were some concerns, then I think the team would be the first ones to put their hands up and say that these airplanes are unsafe. And I think what the Snowbird alumni is doing is very, very good. I think there's some opportunities for compromise and for the Prime Minister to change his mind on this. I think we could go to a 7-ship team and maybe change the air show numbers from 65 to 40 or something like that. So we're going to keep up the good fight and continue on. So thanks.
Just while I have you, do you have any thoughts on these new U.S. tariffs, an additional 10%?
You know what? I'm really focused on the Snowbird conversation. Thanks.
I'm wondering what you thought of the Conservative leadership election in BC.
Kerry-Lyne's a good friend, and I'm a Conservative in British Columbia. I was part of that movement a while ago, and so really congratulate Kerry-Lyne Findlay and wish her the best.
Do you think that, given the results, that the party can unify going forward?
Absolutely. I think the one thing that I know, I'm from northern BC, there's a lot of sort of residents in British Columbia affected by the downturn in the economy and the sort of the lack of resource development, and I think people are coming over to the Conservatives, especially around some uncertainty around property rights. I think she's a good person to align and kind of get everybody on the same page together and unite that caucus. So, no, I just congratulate her, wish her the best. She's a hardworking lady, as we know here, and good friend. So, wish her my best.
CBC earlier this week published, it's okay if you don't know about this, but published potential pipeline routes that are being looked at by the Alberta government through BC. I'm wondering, did you have a chance to look at that? It's okay if you didn't.
I'm from Fort St. John, so we're very much an oil and gas town. So I've heard some routes, but I don't know anything that's really in stone right now. And I think there's already a pathway that goes down to the coast, but I guess we'll see where that goes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Viss, what do you make of the leadership results in BC?
Kerry-Lyne Findlay, my former colleague, is going to take the right steps to improve BC's education system, our hospital system, and BC's economic competitiveness. She knows, like I do, provincially our test scores have fallen drastically under the NDP. They're letting children down in British Columbia. We got to turn that system around. Parents are not okay with the status quo. Thank you.
Why? Well, Bill C-22 is fairly obvious. There's been substantial opposition to Part 2. I think we can, potentially, if the Liberals are prepared to accept some common sense amendments, we can see it. And law enforcement is saying that they need assistance. I don't think the Liberals have done them any favors in this instance. But to me, it seems very obvious if we've got one part of a bill that seems aimed at doing what it needs to do, and another part that's getting substantial controversy, we move forward with the part that doesn't.
Do you think the Liberals could get on board with that? Like, have you heard anything on that?
That's up to them, ultimately.
What are your thoughts on the new tariffs from the U.S.?